Good afternoon, Valley City State University. Welcome, alumni, students, faculty, staff, to our artist talk here in the podcast room at Valley City State University. My name is Angela Mirso. I am the department chair and gallery director here at Valley City State University. It is a beautiful November, kind of crisp day. It did snow once already this lovely fall. But we are here today to celebrate another one of our seniors here at Valley City State University who is graduating this December. Her name is Alayna Proctor. She is from Chaplin, Minnesota. And I cannot wait to hear her talk, and I cannot wait to share this experience with you all who are tuning in live right now. And if you're watching this later, please follow us on Facebook and on Instagram. So I will turn it over to Alayna. Alayna?
Hello everyone, my name is Alayna Proctor. I am an art major with a psychology minor and I am graduating this December. Welcome to my artist talk about my senior capstone exhibit called Extinction is Forever. First, I am going to start by sharing a little bit about myself. I am from Champlin, Minnesota and have lived there my whole life before coming to college. I graduated from Champlin Park High School, and as you can see from the two bottom corner photos, I have always loved doing art. My interest first started with coloring, drawing, painting, and making many different creative crafts, and now I am majoring in art with a minor in psychology here at VCSU. Before coming to college, I was not fully sure what I wanted to do, as I was deciding between two different career paths. These paths included becoming a vet tech or pursuing a degree in art. When touring VCSU, I fell in love with the small campus right away, and I thought the art department was a great choice for me. Because of this, I applied, got accepted, and declared my major as art education. However, later on, I did end up switching to just art, as I figured out teaching wasn't the path for me. And shortly after, I also added a psychology minor for art therapy. Helping others is something that has always been important to me. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about my previous work. I will be starting with my soft pastel drawings and then moving into felting. Starting out, I took a variety of different art courses but enjoyed drawing and painting the most. I remember when I took drawing 1 and 2, I mainly focused on using graphite and charcoal, as you can see here. Slowly, I started to experiment with color, which you will see in the next few slides. When I first started using color in my work, I experimented with oil pastels and soft pastels. Soft pastels ended up being more natural for me, and I liked how easy they were to blend and control. In this drawing, you can see how I first started using color only within my subject matter instead of the background. Here, I started to push my comfort zone within the background, and this really helped me grow as an artist in general. My confidence started to increase, and I also realized that I really enjoyed creating pieces of animals, especially of those that are important to me. This piece is what encouraged me to continue making drawings of animals. As my confidence continued to increase, I kept pushing my development of color within my drawings, and this piece titled Fear shows that. Compared to the last two drawings that I showed, it was the first piece where I began to display bright, bold, and contrasting colors that draw in the viewer's eye. This carries over into my next slides, where I created a series of farm animals. Within this series, I created 4 different drawings, and as I stated before, I focused on using bright, bold, and contrasting colors throughout. Another aspect that I started to explore was detail, which you can see in the fur of each animal. To create the details like fur in each drawing, I used white and black charcoal. I also used color pencils for details like grass, which you can see here in the goat's mouth and in the cow's mouth on the next slide. Throughout this work, I learned that using colored pencil creates a glossier texture and is a good technique to use when layering soft pastels. When it comes to my previous work in felting, I did not have a lot of experience when first starting out. Here you can see the first felting piece that I made, and when making it, it did not take me very long. Similar to soft pastels, it came natural to me, and afterwards I knew I wanted to experiment with it more and create mini felted animals for my show, which you will see later on. Next, I am going to talk about what has influenced my work. These include personal influences as well as artists that I have discovered throughout the art courses that I have taken here in the past 4 years. Starting with personal influences, animals are something that have always been important to me. Growing up, my family had many dogs and I love getting to help take care of them. I also enjoy going to the zoo or really doing anything that involved animals, as you can see here. In a way, animals have also helped me, especially through my experiences with anxiety and depression. With this, I think it's important to highlight that animals are just as important as people. Not only do they play a huge role in maintaining our environment, but some may even say that they are our best friends too. My love and care for animals is why I decided to focus on endangered species in my show. Now moving into artists. The first artist that has influenced me is Zaria Foreman. She is a soft pastel artist who pushes the message of climate change awareness through her large-scale drawings of glaciers. She travels to remote regions of the world to collect images and inspiration for her work, which is exhibited worldwide. The overall message of her work, along with the use of contrasting colors, with the bright blues against the darker grays and blacks that you can see here, is what inspired me. The second artist is Edgar Degas. He was a French Impressionist artist who was well known for his pastel drawings and oil paintings, with many of his works focusing on ballet dancers. Throughout his work, he used bright, bold colors that lifted the darker charcoal in the background. This technique is what inspired me. The third artist is Elizabeth Armstrong. She is a felting artist that creates vibrant and often abstract pieces that are influenced by nature. Throughout her pieces, she uses hand-dyed wool and adds yarn, silk, and other stitching mediums that create texture. When creating my felted sculptures, I was inspired by her vibrant use of color. And the fourth artist is Erin Gardner. Erin Gardner is the owner, designer, and maker behind Gray Fox Felting. She creates many different types of needle felting sculptures and offers felting kits for beginners. Her animal sculpture seen here is what inspired me. Now I am going to talk about some of the work in my show titled Extinction is Forever. I chose this title because my work focuses on endangered animals and I wanted to emphasize the powerful message that what is gone forever. Within my show, you will see soft pastel drawings and mini felted sculptures of the animals that are currently at risk for extinction due to climate change, habitat loss, and pollution. Through this body of work, I strive to spread awareness and encouragement for change. This is the first piece that I created for my show. Like my previous pieces, I used bright, bold, and contrasting colors, and this is one aspect that is very important in my work. I wanted each animal to be bright against a dark background because it really shows how their environments are changing and fading away. Rather than using bright greens and blues, which you would usually see, I added black and grays instead. In addition, I also wanted to focus on the eyes of each animal by making them darker underneath. When doing so, it continues to push the message of how these animals are being impacted, and in a sense, shows a glimpse of sadness and exhaustion that they may be experiencing. Another important aspect within my work is detail. As I mentioned earlier in my previous work, I use white and black charcoal to create each line of fur, as well as the whiskers and wrinkles. I want to highlight that this takes time because I make each line separate and place them with careful consideration. By doing this, it gives my drawings a sense of realness, almost as if you could reach out and touch them. Here you can see a short video on how I add detail within my drawings. In addition to the white and black charcoal pencils, I also use blending stumps to smooth out some of the lines, which creates depth as I continue to add more layers. One thing I do recommend when using soft pastels is to wear gloves as it can get messy. While keeping the idea of touch in mind, this is where I created mini felted sculptures. As I mentioned before, it is something that came natural to me, and I ended up making one to go with each drawing in my show. Creating something small enough to hold in your hand while standing and looking at the larger drawings allowed me to present my cute style, the weight of this heavy topic, and it also lets the viewers feel as if they are already passing out of existence. I want to highlight once again that this is another process that takes time, especially when it comes to the technique. Here you can see what the felting process looks like and the tools that I use. I took a ball of wool, layered it, and used the thin needle to poke and bind the fibers together over and over again. Now, as my talk is coming to an end, I would also like to share my internship experience I did this past summer. This took place through Edina Public Schools within a program known as Kids Club. And when doing so, I had students create many different hands-on crafts that focused on different methods of expression. Throughout this experience, I learned many new things along the way, and overall, it helped guide me to my future plans. For my future plans, I am planning on moving back home as I am beginning to explore my options for art therapy. During this time, I am also hoping to continue working with kids before starting my next chapter in grad school. Here are my sources. And lastly, before we get into questions, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who has been listening to my talk today. I also want to thank the art department for the help along the way, as well as my family and friends who have supported me through this entire process. Following this talk, a reception for my show will take place in the Center for the Arts Gallery here at VCSU, and I hope to see you all there.
Thank you, Alayna. If you guys have your cell phones out over wherever you are watching, scan the QR code that will probably be at the bottom of your screen so we can get questions started. And my first question is for Alayna. What was your most probably impactful class here at Valley City State University, or favorite?
My most impactful class, I would have to say my drawing and painting classes. They really taught me a lot within color and shading, things like that. Yeah.
So the two-dimensional side.
Yes, yes. I'm just getting into 3D work, so.
Just getting into 3D.
Yeah.
So which piece was your favorite to make?
Oh, gosh. I love all of them. My favorite to make would probably have to be the polar bear.
Okay.
I loved creating all the little lines for the details. I also really like the felted polar bear.
Okay.
Those two are my favorite.
Two of your favorite. So with your favorite, because you did both sculpture and drawings / paintings, you could almost say within what the soft pastel, which one was your favorite to do for your show?
I would say the soft pastels.
Soft pastels,
Yeah.
your go-to?
Yeah.
So from soft pastels, you've done a wide range of variety here in the art department.
Yes.
What medium that you haven't studied are you hoping to study in the future?
um, let's see. Well, next I think I'm gonna work with like felting paintings.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of like making the felted sculptures that I showed,
Mm-hmm.
they'll be more like 2D, going back to 2D.
Sure.
So
That's awesome. So, how long did it take you to make the polar bear, maybe on both of them, the soft pastel and the felted sculpture? Could you give like a time limit for, or an estimated time for the public who is listening in?
yeah, so it does take time. I take breaks as well, but the polar bear I would have probably say 6 to 8 hours,
Mm-hmm.
and then the felting maybe like two,
Two,
two
okay.
to three.
2 to 3.
Yeah.
Okay. And then talk a little bit more about your research into endangered species. What inspired the focus, and what did you find the most interesting or surprising when you did this, pick this theme way back, actually last spring when I remember?
Yeah, so actually, one day I was sitting on my couch and National Geographic came up, and I was like, since I love doing
Mm-hmm.
animals and I really care for them, I was like, I could make my show into endangered animals to
Mm-hmm.
really spread the message. Um, what was your second question?
What did you find most interesting or surprising during your whole research of it?
Um, Probably the causes. There was a lot of human impact
Mm-hmm.
and like logging and industry
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. So
Yeah, it's amazing how us as humans are just our own problem. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
It's something that, I mean, especially the theme you took and
hmm,
really taking the emotional impact.
yeah,
I mean, that was making those drawings, especially like, whoa, because that's what you want the viewer to feel like,
yeah.
very impactful.
Hmm.
So, was there a specific animal that made you passionate about the message you're giving in your art?
Um, let's see. I think the orangutan.
The orangutan?
Yeah, he was a really big start for me. I've always loved monkeys, and my mom also loves monkeys. So I kind of just, when I saw like when I was researching,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw the different animals and the lists and the numbers, he really caught my eye right away, and so I thought he would be great to do.
Your first piece, which is not ironic, but
Yeah.
yeah. Um, let's see. And then, since you're going in thinking about art therapy,
Hmm.
what kind of work in art therapy are you planning on focusing on?
Um, Still figuring that out.
Okay.
I just kind of like my internship. I really just want to work with, kids and crafts that can express their like emotions, and
Mm-hmm.
whether that be drawing or coloring or construction building
Mm-hmm.
crafts or really anything like that. Because for me, art really helps
Yeah.
me express my feelings and emotions, and
Mm-hmm.
I just want to be able to help others do that
Sure.
too.
And like with helping others, since you've been here since 2019, it's
Yes.
very been through a lot of things here at Valley City State since 2019.
Hmm.
What advice could you give to the current art majors who are just starting out?
You know, one thing the professors always told me was to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Really just push yourself and try new things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's something that has helped me, and